Right. Well, good morning again, everyone. It looks like everyone who was in the waiting room is now logged into the meeting. So let's call the meeting to order. It's 9:03 a.m. And the only item on the agenda today is discussion and adoption of the annual report to the legislature. At the October 3rd meeting, three of us volunteered to do an initial draft of the annual report, which I'm looking at on my second monitor here. So that's what we circulated a draft on October 14th, took some comments from members of the group. And then I circulated a fairly lightly edited draft this morning ahead of the meeting. So if you members of the group want to look at draft V2, October 29th, 2024, from very, very little added from the October 14th draft, and a little bit moved around. But so I'd welcome questions from the group or comments, and we can kind of edit it live here if we need to make any edits, and then vote on the final version. The one substantive question is who should sign this. We the three of us on the Rich, Maria, and I just considered that either all of us could sign it, or whether I would sign it as the acting chair on behalf of everyone. Pros and cons. I could see pros and cons of either route. So, oh, is my video on?
It is not.
Oh, my video is supposed to be on.
Yes, there you go.
There we go. Hi again, everyone. So did everyone get the revised draft this morning?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I have a couple of comments, if you don't. So
yeah.
Thank you for everyone that worked on this. I know that it was kind of being able to work on an annual report when we haven't been able to do anything yet. So I know that we're submitting it for the sake of saying that we needed to submit one. So I just want to say thank you for editing this document and really being able to succinctly share the fact that, we've only been able to do a couple of meetings and we're still kind of hamstringed. As far as even just making sure that our members are being appointed. So I appreciate that is said in a way that hopefully will resonate with the incoming administration. And I think for the sake of, and if everyone is agreeable with the overall document, I think it's fine that as acting chair, just from an expedience perspective, just to have you be the person that signs it. And because I think it's just going to eat up more time and trying to circulate and people questioning, am I a member or when do I become a member? Because I know there's still some term issues that still need to be resolved. So I think to not to invite any more issues would be just to have you as acting chair, in my opinion, to have you be the person that officially signs off once it's all agreed to.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Maybe I could append at the bottom a list of the current members, sort of on behalf of the current membership of the group or the membership, or we don't have to do that at all.
That's fine too.
Yeah, I think we're good either way. But again, I think again, adding the people, I think it'll highlight the issue, but at the same time, let's not spend that time doing that if we don't.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Anything that we should? I'm going to rely on. Does everyone agree that we should address this to the chairs and ranking members of the two committees? I guess I'll rely on Christina to get me their current names and then the proper way to address a letter to the legislature. Is there anyone else that should be included in that?
Do we
Maybe
send it to the governor's office?
I think we would, well, I think we should copy to the governor's office. Actually, that's a good point.
And I think your idea of putting the existing members on will show, again, the lack of numbers that they have provided us. Just as a second, you mentioned that in the text, but this would also provide a visual for somebody that might not read the whole text.
I wonder if Anne might have any other thoughts about addressees. Are those adequate, you think, Anne?
Thank you for that. There is a process that state agencies go through to submit reports to the legislature. And I was kind of going through my head thinking, well, should we go through that same process? I could actually argue in either way, but by going through that process, at least it would allow the governor's office and the leadership in WashDOT and the legislative aides to see the report on its way to getting to the chairs.
So is that a kind of a routing path, or is it substantive comments?
Well, when it's something like if it was a report that staff was doing, it would be subject to comments. But here, there wouldn't be an opportunity for comments. However, it would give all those entities, like a heads up so they could know that if they do want to comment, it would be their separate comment to the legislature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think there's. Sorry, go ahead.
And who do we actually send the file to, or send the letter to? If we go through the normal routing.
To the I'm struggling to think of what the title is, but it's like a legislative services person within WashDOT.
Perhaps we can just leave that up to Anne to fill in the blanks, Chair Norby.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that makes sense. And that way too, again, I think you make a good point that routing it through the typical channels, give everyone a heads up, makes a ton of sense.
Right. And Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
just an update for the group. Within the last week, I've learned of 2 additional people that have been scheduled for an interview with the governor's office for appointment. So they are continuing to work on appointing new members.
Okay, that's great news. Do we know what category they fall in, or just?
One of them, I believe, is a citizen representative, and the other one is an airline representative.
Great. Right. Does anyone have any additional comments on the substance of the version 2 annual report? Anything we should add, take out? Okay. Well, hearing none.
I make a motion that we submit it as presented in the revised document sent to us this morning.
Okay. That's with the listing membership added.
Added, yes.
Chair signing it with the current membership listed underneath, and with the CC to the governor's office.
Correct.
And the appropriate addressees provided by Anne.
Correct. Is there a second for the motion?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. And Great. Well, that is the only item on our agenda. As far as scheduling new meetings after the first of the year, we will, well, we had discussed at the October 3rd meeting, waiting a bit to set a new meeting, but not waiting too long. It's kind of the Goldilocks solution. So I'm open to suggestions about how either if we wanted to pick a date or if we wanted to pick a date by which we would pick a date. Perhaps we might want to give this, if we're going to have two new members joining us, we might want to give ourselves a little bit of time to see if they get actually appointed ahead of the first week of January, or if we're waiting until after the first week of January.
That was going to be my suggestion, was to see how soon the other two might be appointed. Hopefully that's relatively soon, and then maybe send out a doodle poll or something based on that, because you're going to start losing people during the holiday. We're going into the holidays now. So that would be my recommendation.
I know of public agencies that use essentially an 11-month calendar, because November and December count as 1 month. Gary, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm wondering if there's something else that we can do before January, such as perhaps continuing with the invitation for the non-voting members. We could wait for 2 more. We might get 2 more members on the work group, and we might not. But it seems to me that nevertheless, we ought to do what we can with what we've got. And that's something we could do that I don't think would be impacted too much by the holidays. Just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, Alicia, I see you need to go. You had been taking suggestions in for non-voting members to invite.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I've only gotten 2 so far, but I will double check and see if any more have come in. But if anyone hasn't submitted names yet, please feel free to do so. That link that was sent before is still available.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that is something we could continue working on. So perhaps we could have non-voting members at whatever our first meeting is in 2025, as well as any potential new voting members.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Evan,
Oh, yes.
I would appreciate it if you folks can send a refresher as to what we're looking for collectively for the non-voting members. That would be so helpful. Thank you.
That's right. Anne has as I recall, has a list of all the categories.
Yeah, we'll send that to everybody, Maria. Good idea.
Thank you.
And I have a question for Anne, and she may not know the answer, but with the upcoming election, we will, by the time we meet, probably next, we'll have a new governor and some new legislatures in various parts. Is there anything that will happen with that changeover that will affect our working group?
There's not an easy answer, Oris, of course, but
if it was easy, anybody could do it.
Exactly. Unless Governor Inslee gets in a big hurry and appoints all the rest of the members before he's done. That's one difference, is a new governor and new staff would be working on the appointments. So they might have a different idea in mind. I don't know. I think this group should always have in mind that as the legislature meets, they could do anything. They could change how this group operates or change anything about it. They did already change the date of when your annual report is due. So it could be something as simple as that to all the way eliminating this group. So I don't know. That's my good answer, is I don't know. Though I'm gonna try for my part, when we get the new governor and staff on board, to see if I can get them to address this group. So at least we've got kind of the marching orders from the appointing authority.
You know, I think that would be fantastic. Right now, we're working on with a pair of 1-sentence long missions statements, one from the legislature and one from Governor Inslee in his veto statement. So, no, I think that would help. Yeah. All right. Does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
First of all, should we talk about perhaps a date before the end of the year to discuss the 11 non-voting members? Or is everybody going to be completely out of the picture because of the holidays?
I think it's going to be hard to align everyone's schedules through the holidays.
Why don't we do it in January? Mid-January, things might settle down a little bit.
If we, why don't we circulate, instead of all kind of getting our calendars out right now, why don't we, I think Alicia's idea of circulating a doodle poll for available dates. I'm looking at my own calendar here. For available dates to set a meeting sometime in the next, circulate within the next week for dates in early 2025. And how's that sound, everyone? I see nodding heads in video. Gary, what do you, does that work?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we could do something before the end of the year, but if everybody thinks that it's out of the picture, that's fine.
Yeah, I think
Since we only have one item on the agenda and we have succeeded with successfully getting that out of the way, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Yeah. Is there a second? Sorry, is there a second?
Second.
I do agree that we should circulate a doodle meeting for January if that's what we want to do, so that everybody has a chance to comment on that.
Okay, I'll do that. All right. The motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That carries. All right. Well, it's great seeing everyone. And we'll get this annual report sent around soon through channels as voted on as soon as possible.
Happy holidays.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody. All right.